Helen Volk, longtime friend, but she has been involved with Beyond Clutter for almost 20, how long?
1991. It's over 20 years, my
Yeah,
dear.
20, where did the time go?
I know.
Oh my gosh. She's a former attorney, so she knows all about the ins and outs of getting things done right.
And getting them done, period.
Period. Good. So we're going to be talking about, she talks about downsizing for seniors, but this time we're going to be talking mainly about decluttering your life.
Yeah.
And that's like de-stressing your life.
Declutter, de-stress. It's stress management through clutter control is how I phrase my workshops and talks and so on, because clutter is a stressor. But unlike some other stressors like illness, traffic, parking,
They can't do much about.
you can't do anything about. How you maintain your environment is totally within your control. So clutter is preventable, and it's fixable. So people tend to laugh at it because clutter is kind of a funny word, but it has negative effects in life, like we stop inviting people over. We don't want uninvited guests. We can't improve the house because you have to move the stuff out of the way. Clutter is the supreme compromiser. It keeps us from being who we truly are, and it keeps us from allowing others completely into our lives because it's a barrier.
Yeah.
It's a barrier. Clutter not only fills space, but it starts in the essence of who we are. To me, clutter is an end product of cluttered thinking, over sentimentality about things, and decluttering is not just a physical experience. It's a mental and emotional one.
It's all wrapped up together.
It's all wrapped up together. And the great thing is, once you move on one plane, say you decide to declutter your kitchen cabinets, your mind and your spirit moves with it. So even the smallest bit of progress has large results that can move you forward to improve your life in other areas.
Well, and I've read that sometimes, okay, so you have maybe 15, 20 minutes. Take a drawer, just dump it over on your bed and clean it out and just be done with it. But you can do it in little steps.
You have to do it in little steps. So just think about it. How did the stuff come in?
Did
it come in a bedroom at a time? No, it came in little steps.
Yeah.
So that's how it's going to go out. It's not going to go out any other way. So it's starting and using what I call bits of time, like you mentioned, 15 minutes. And I'm really big about television as the model. Why? Because you have an hour television program, but it's only 40 minutes in length.
You got
so here's
20
your 20
minutes
minutes
to get your stuff done, and don't watch those commercials. We don't have commercials on this show.
Well, and channel surfing is a waste of time, because what are you going to get on the next station?
Commercials are all the same.
Exactly. So you might as well use that time. You can bring things you want to clean out in front of the television if you're so afraid of missing a minute of your program. But it's using bits of time that you already have.
I do folders sometimes during that break.
Oh,
Just take a bunch of folders and go through them and dump the papers that are old in there.
Yes, you can bring all your paperwork.
Because that's clutter too, is your files.
Clutter comes in my way of thinking in different forms. What I call easy stuff, which is where everyone should begin. Clutter has different levels. You, just like when you start school, you start in kindergarten. You don't start in 6th grade. So you shouldn't start cluttering emotional items. You should start with easy stuff, which in my way of thinking is 2 categories. Things that are totally out of date. The date has passed. There's something wrong with it, and you're not going to give it away. This is an area of stuff that it's only toss. So you need to double and triple your recyclables and trash. And the other area of easy stuff are things that are damaged. They're ruined. You stains on shirts, or jigsaw puzzles with 20 pieces missing.
You think people keep those?
People not only keep those, they try and sell them at garage sales. Like, it's insane. But, these are things you have to say, look, compared to other stuff I own, this clutters my life. Let me get rid of this and make more space for things that are more meaningful. So if you start at that level, you don't worry about sentimentality, you don't worry about donating, and you don't worry about selling. All you're doing is tossing, recycling. Old magazines, old newspapers, old news changes fast. You were talking about that earlier. There's a lot of paper, files. I mean, if you have a 4-drawer filing cabinet, why buy another one? Just clean out half a drawer of what you have.
And things like, I mean, as an attorney, you know what you need to keep and what you don't. I think a lot of us are a little bit concerned, like you're supposed to keep your papers for 7 years or something like that. And then I went into my files because I just had to renew my insurance thing. So how many of these insurance policies, do I only keep the one that is current, or do I keep a couple years back? What if something comes up? I don't know what to throw out.
Well, when it comes to insurance policies, the general rule is you keep the active one, and some people feel better keeping one back.
Yeah.
But unless you have a claim, that insurance policy is over.
It's done.
It's done. You have a new one. So you don't have to keep a lot of those.
And if you're worried about how much it costs, you just write it on the inside of the folder, how much you paid every year.
Well, you also have to keep in mind this, that in our way of thinking in this society, more is always better, but it isn't.
No.
If something happens to you, if something happens to me, and people have to find important documents, I don't want them going through 6 drawers and 7 piles of crap, what I call junk.
My father kept everything, including catalogs, junk mail, and he would date the junk mail. I mean, it's like, Dad, why did you keep all this? I was throwing stuff out.
Yes.
But then what was scary is it'd be in the folder with something that might have been important.
Right.
So he would even file this, and it was like, oh my God.
I see this all the time. I see this.
That's compulsion.
And that fear of letting go.
Yeah. But junk
then
mail?
fell into your life. It's like if we don't maintain our own things, and simplicity is always the answer. You know, I tell people, look, I run a business, and yet I only have 2 file drawers. So what are you saving? I used to have 8 file drawers, but over time I told myself that I don't need to keep all this. Plus, as I age, I now, you have to look at portability. Because,
to move, or you have to move, yeah.
Well, it's not just moving, it's emergency planning now.
Oh, okay.
They say you should have your important documents portable, because if you have a to-go emergency, you need to take them with you. So portability, so how much can you save if it has to be portable?
That's kind of an interesting.
I have a portable file. It holds every one of my important documents. So why does anyone need 2, 3, 4, 6 file cabinets if this is what's important? It's all this stuff once we keep it, once it gets in that cabinet, we do not want to get rid of it. It's like magic. It's like, oh, I must have saved it.
And it's important, I think, whenever, because I do file my stuff, and when I go file it, I always take the folder out and then I dump what
you clean out first. You clean out first,
and then I put it
then
in.
Add.
Because then, I mean, it's like, in a hurry, you just throw them in the files, but you've got to go through those files and get rid of it. Now, I know that you work with people and you have these workshops.
Yeah.
What is the array, I guess is a good word to use, of people? Do you get hoarders at this end, or just mild clutterers?
I get both.
Okay.
I get the extreme. I would say the majority of people that come to me are about 40 or over. Because when you're younger, you're still acquiring.
You've got kids, and your kids' stuff.
You got to be a certain age when you start saying, why am I keeping this? Yeah. Why do I have a 10-room house and the kids are gone? And you start saying why. You start questioning things. And that's when people start coming to me. And then people in your situation, where they've cleaned out an estate and someone has been either a grade 1 hoarder or even someone who just saved paper or collected all kinds of stuff, and now it falls to someone else to clean it out.
Go through it,
and then they say, what do they say? I am not doing
this to my kids.
Anyone else. I get a lot of those because they've been through the experience. So this workshop on October 6th, the Declutter workshop, is the basic program on how to get rid of clutter and how to keep it out of your life. But you know, the trick is it's not just a physical experience. You got to change your thinking. You got to go from more is better to less is more. You have to think about, you know, before you go out shopping, you got to think twice before you buy something. You have to decide not to live life by addition. I'm going to add. 12 sweaters is great, but 13 has to be better. Well, no, it doesn't.
No, it doesn't.
Maybe 5 is perfect.
Yeah, yeah.
So you go through what I call the mathematics, and you look at how much space you have, or little things. We were talking about this earlier. Little things like, I can't get the drawer closed, or I can't get it open. Well, that tells you it's cluttered. You've got more in there
than you need.
Than fits. So you take the drawer out, you get rid of enough to make the drawer close easily, and there's a small project.
Yeah, and you've done something.
And you've done something.
Don't you just love it, though, when you see these ads? You got too much stuff, buy a rent unit to store it. It's like, oh my gosh, how much stuff do you have that you start renting a storage unit? Now, I can understand if you've got a lot of sports equipment and you don't have a place to store it, maybe you want something like that because you do a lot of skiing and snowmobiling.
Especially if it's seasonal.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Especially if you're big into winter sports.
Exactly.
What do you do with it in the summer?
Yeah.
So yes, that makes sense to me. There are times in life where having a storage unit might be appropriate.
Exactly.
But as we age, we need to start saying, my job is to clean that out, because it also costs money. So you start saying,
you're paying rent on anything.
Clutter costs money.
Yeah.
We waste money buying things even though we know we have one. We just can't find it. It's in the house, but we can't find it. So
well, and that brings you to organization. In your home, make sure you know where things are. You've got that wrapping paper, you keep that all together, and you've got your dishes are all together. I mean, it's like if you scatter it all over, then you go, oh, where did I put that
You know where it is.
And I better go find it.
It's in a shopping bag in the extra bedroom or in a closet, because you're going to have guests. And then
so
you have to
clean, right in there.
And you have to put it in a bag, and you have to throw it in a basement or in an attic or in a closet. So if you're looking for the extra wrap, go there first.
Make sure you throw it under the bed and you throw it somewhere.
I know. So when you have company, you create a bigger mess.
Well, I always laugh. It says if company's coming and your house is a mess, get out the vacuum cleaner and tell them you're in the middle of cleaning.
or tell them this is self-help. I need help cleaning, and here you are. Let's get started.
Let's do it all. Helen Volk, if you want to find out about decluttering your life, de-stressing your life, and she also has a book. She's got books out, but she's got one especially for the holidays. You still have one for Christmas.
Oh, that's actually going to become an ebook.
An ebook.
I'm working on making it an ebook.
De-stressing the holidays. Yeah. There you go. So check it out. And we'll get her. She's coming on again too, because you're
November.
coming on. Yeah, November. So we'll
downsizing.